Hello, guys, I'm Shopper King back here once again. So I tired the video. Hajime Pro Round. Hajime Pro Round 1401. Yes, I did not do a chapter review of 1400. It's just 1400 because I didn't think anything happened in the chapter. Nothing really progressed. It was just more some in thought. Sentinel getting inside that Wally's talking to Ricardo, and Ricardo's said in order to fight him, you gotta go deep into the jungle. That's more or less it. So that's why I didn't make a video on the last chapter. But this chapter, apparently, boys and girls, Ricardo, I won't spoil this thing, but to go right into it, the announcer said the champion who's been entirely on the defensive during the opening rounds has recouped his strength, is not pressing forward. It said the champion is finally on the move. As you see, Ricardo steps in, he steps towards Wally. Now announcer continues. He's pouring on the pressure. It says he's going for it. Ippo's like he's finally here. Ricardo throwing a few jabs. Wally moving back and forth. Announcer said he's explored his left. They'll prevent him from losing any more points. He'll clearly know that he has to throw more punches. What would a challenger do? Faith for the champions left to be faith for the champions left. Praised to be unparalleled in accuracy. How will he escape? And Wally stepped forward, blam hit it across his arm. He falls with an uppercut. Ricardo weaves back. He throws a right. Wally guards, and the combinations continue. The announcer said he doesn't escape. He doesn't run. Instead, he fights right back. Wally's fighting in the pocket. This is the Wally I want to see. The fight is finally starting to rev up his gears. And the crowd says, he's going to trade punches with Ricardo? He has guts, I have to admit. But even is that even doable? D-O-A, no, doable. Nobody's ever won a punch out against him, nobody. And Wally weaves out of the way, and Ippo says to himself, it's dangerous. And Wally throws a punch back, and Ricardo stands a high guard. He bobs and weaves. Ricardo weaves out the way. Ippo said that was too close, but I guess he's okay. Wally weaves out another punch. And Ippo says to himself, this is terrifying. And then he says to Miguel, maybe we should use footwork more. And Miguel tells Ippo, since he lost to you, we've gone all around the world, fighting anywhere, everywhere. He's not the same boy you once knew on his little island. I'm talking to. Now Wally's a warrior that knows the great oceans. What? He's a warrior.
As a warrior. No road left but the one that leads to the end.
Which means he can't be pushed back. I mean, if he can't push back against the waves, he'll be swallowed entirely. That's a great way. I don't think body blows will do anything against Wally anymore. Because if he can fight against the waves, he can no longer trip, meaning he can no longer be grounded, and he can no longer be drowned. And Wally blocks two Ricardo's jabs. He blocks again, and he gets pushed back. But Wally charges back in. Ricardo throws out a jab. Wally weaves out the way. He comes back on his own left hand. Ricardo's blocking with the shoulders and hand with a movable guard. And he throws out multiple jabs to his own. Wally's weaving back and forth. Wally, wait, Wally, wait, as he weaves out the punch. Is it a cross counter? Is it a dual exchange? Wally connects! But Ricardo is able to still guard some of it, like he's Alfredo Gonzalez with Ippo with the uppercut, but then Gonzalez still dropped. Will Ricardo stay on his feet? Is this enough to drop the real deal? Or with the El Diablo of Mexico show his true power? Go ahead, Wally, drag that dragon out of his lair. Let's see who Ricardo really is. And the crowd is ecstatic. Ricardo's still stationed there, and Wally dips out of the way. And announcer says he stopped. The champion advance head on exchange of punches has been stopped. That's what I'm talking about. And that crowd's like, he won the punch out. He probably dumbfounded. Wow, he said to himself, amazing. It's only for an instant, but he still won. The only boxer winning a hitting match against Ricardo. And Sinner's like, yo, yeah. And Void says, in the first place, I've never liked this. Stopping signal code from his excitement. If Zeno says my replacement, you must know this happened to you. Ricardo challenged Wally to hone an anti-tiger strategy. This is experimental before his match with you. Monkeys. And Zeno says monkey and tigers are different. This ain't no experiment. And Vork says, even though, why do you think I came all the way from my spars almost entirely unscathed? Obviously, it wasn't our first time we sparred them, so that helped. However, I also have much experience against you. Wait a minute, what you getting at there, Vork? Stender continues. You never know what, when, or where he'll do something. There's a tension of facing down a true wildness, and I've already experienced that in spades and real fights. And Stender, of course, says test matches are important. And with your own match postponed, he's found just the time to do just that. Stender says, yeah, but he grits his teeth. I don't like this. Just saying he's treating him like like my tester. And Vork says precisely. But he's underestimated him too much, and now he's paying for his hubris. And they both start to yell out. Vork says, "Don't hold back!" And Sinner's like, "Kick his goddamn ass!" And Sendo's coach like, it looks like Wally got himself some fans. But how would this play out? If something goes wrong here, maybe our goal might be changing. Good thing I didn't, because could this chapter, number 1, 10 out of 10, it delivered on everything I've ever could have wanted. But those questions at the end. When Ricardo finally makes his moves, he started to throw out a jab. He started to make Wally earn his respect and not making it so easy to get in, so slip in easy and come right out. Wally's moving all over the place. He's breakdancing and weaving and throwing out punches of his own. We got ourselves in a change and an all-out punch-out. It's not a Louisville slugger like Ippo versus Sendo, but it's a punch-out indeed. Going back and forth, the audience is dumbfounded. Wally is weaving in outside the pocket. Ricardo is consistently throwing the jab. And Wally is not respecting the jab. And he's breakdancing all over the place. And then it is brought up an excellent point by Miguel that he's a warrior that knows the great oceans. Wally can no longer drown. Now, we haven't seen how good his body has been tested yet. You can still slow down his legs, but even then, stopping his legs does not mean you beat Wally. Ippo knows that firsthand. Because even with that, it was not enough. Wally was still fighting back. You cannot just cripple a tiger and expect it just to roll over and die. Well, in this case, what would you consider a Wally? Now, a chimp is too violent. A monkey would be, but it could be a super type of monkey, like not like a gazelle, but that one that starts with a it's the one that starts like a G, and it looks similar to a bamboo, but it's not. It's like G-E-A-D-A. I could be wrong, but it's that. He could be that. It has the same velocity, the same movement and agility, and he's standing inside the pocket, going against the real deal from Mexico. And Ricardo throws a three-piece combination, sending Wally's shoes sliding back. But Wally just hopped right in, slipped a jab, throw back a few combinations of his own. Ricardo using a shoulder rope and a mobile guard and flipped it and deflecting all the punches. And he throws back a combination of his own. Wally slipping and sliding now. And on the way in, it looks like it's a duel at slings. Wally slipped his punch, getting one clean on Ricardo Martinez. Even though he blocked it, it had to go straight to the guard. But Ricardo did not drop. His legs did not shake. The champion remains strong, and so far, according to his record and his opposition, unbeaten. Now, Vork does make an excellent point of he does have a lot of experience with going against Sendo and the wildness, but I don't think the comparison is one-to-one the same. Similarly, you could say both of them have a similar intensity and untamedness. But comparing Wally and Sendo, besides from that, is not the same at all. I don't, because Wally is unpredictable in a way. He got the freedom style to a certain degree, even in just with his base attributes. He's very good, very unpredictable, even before this fight. But for Sendo, it was never like that for Sendo. Sendo is a different breed entirely. And equally, they're the king of their own respected jungles. But Sendo is different. Because even then, Sendo can become unpredictable. It's not the same unpredictable like Wally. It'd be like trying to capture a cat or a chicken or a dog with Wally, where it's very elusive, it's very all over the place, you can't trap into a corner. That's like Wally, but for Sendo, it's not the same. It's not the same at all. It's more comparable to like a saber-toothed tiger or a Cape buffalo. A Cape buffalo or a I can't really say lion. It really is like a Siberian tiger. To a certain degree, it's cold, relentless, calculated, and it will not stop for nothing. Standing at a massive 1,000 pounds, an absolute animal. The elusiveness will give Wally every inch of the advantage, but the pure bulkiness and the relentless, unknowing set. That's different. For Wally, you get cut up by Wally. The wounds are severe, but it's not life-threatening to a degree. It's just like you get beaten to unconsciousness. With Sendo, you're bleeding to death. It's just the more you fight Sendo, the less the chances of when it's going to happen. Now somebody said, what about Jose Narco? He was dancing all over the place. And that was your mistake. Just, if you wanted to beat Sendo, Ippo have laid down the blueprint. You catch him with a good punch, and he goes gently to that good night into his corner, or you overwhelm him with relentless combination and critical blows. Aside from those two things, just being an outboxer is not good enough. And which is why Sendo versus Miyata would be a fantastic fight. That would be fucking amazing. I pay good money for that. I pay that for pay-per-view. So the comparison, I understand what Vork is getting at, but it's not one-to-one the same. It will help out with a wild, elusive character, but Sendo, especially against an infighter, especially against somebody who has similar footwork to himself, will be able to really get knee-deep into what he was pulling off against Sendo and Vork, which is not good for Ricardo. It's not good at all. Cause let's just say, alright, he really does develop and get a lot from Wally. Even Vork says he kind of put up more than he can chew. He's going beyond his expectations. But even then, it's just Sendo is different. It's hard to split. I can't really put my words on why the two are different. I understand the comparison, but it's not about the technique or the way they fight. Is that they're fundamentally different from the ground up, from the DNA. How to explain it? The only way I can explain it is, if Wally is like a typhoon or a hurricane, where it's elusive all over the place with high speed winds, then Sendo's a tsunami. I think that's like the best comparison between the two. If you can survive one, it will become easier to survive another one, especially with the floods and the heavy winds. But you don't prepare for a hurricane or a typhoon the same way you prepare for a tsunami. Both are highly effective, extremely destructive, causing billions of property damage a year. But they both are just not the same. But and then Sendo's coach, like at the end, if something goes wrong here, our goal might be changing. What you mean by that, fam? Look, we're not canceling the Sendo versus Martinez match. We're not doing that. We're throwing Sendo into the deep end. Then again, Ricardo Martinez is not afraid of Gonzalez. He's not a glass cannon. So I don't know, because like it's dimensions of Ricardo Martinez we have yet to see. We have not seen a Martinez that dealt with Alf easily. We have not seen a Martinez that has put down AJ Dante. Because the difference is, when he first fought AJ Dante, he was excited, he was juiced up, he was ready. He was ready. The second time he's just like, well, he hasn't changed, he's still the same. It's time to push you to sleep, old man. So it's not really comparable, especially seeing where he got juiced up by Billy McCullum. He's not as excited as he was against Billy. He is into foreign territory. He is being dragged deeply into the jungle by the monkey, by Warley himself. But, like any good survival hunter list, or from the hunter from the most dangerous game, only thing it takes is a few quick tools with some quick traps and planning, and the most dangerous prey of human becomes more and more animalistic and easily and predictable. Overall, you could tell it's an amazing chapter, but I wish I could have more concrete words to explain how Sendo and Wally are different. But you do not prepare for the two the same. That's the way you get yourself killed. It's not going to work out the way you think it is. Because it's great. It's great to deal with that type of intensity. It is great to deal with those high gale winds and the flooding. But the tsunami of Sendo is not only just relentless. His mind frame just doesn't make any sense. It just goes all over the place. Hitting him harder does not make much of a difference. Breaking his ribs does not slow him down. Well, it stopped the onslaught, but that's just like temporarily till the next wave comes. And that's everything with Sendo without the extra attributes you can add on top of that. And that is, he still got the forearm guard where he was slipping punches against Miyata that he's yet to bring back up. Then again, Miyata does not have the double arrow like Alfredo Gonzalez. We'll see if George is just not developing the characters or not. We'll see. But I still say up to Sendo and the chains is his quality of opposition is the reason we haven't seen that stuff before. I could be wrong. I could be fully wrong. Because Alfredo jabs and Martinez's jabs are not the same. And Sendo knows that quite well, that they're not the same. Especially Ippo knows they're not the same. Because yeah, that was sad. When Ippo fought Ricardo, that was a tragedy. That wasn't a fight. That was watching a caged animal get butchered. Like those videos from Asia, from Middle East, or any other like lower class countries. It's not completely poor, but it's like more rural, where they just get the animal out there with the pig and they just slice him up. He's bleeding and yelling all over the place. It's like that. But Gonzalez, no matter how much of a death god of Mexico he is, he's still human to a certain degree. But for Ricardo, I don't think that's a similar thing. I don't know. I'm very excited. Sadly, there is a break next week. But I'm telling you, man, there's a reason why I'm hyped up for Ricardo. But apparently, Wally is applying the pressure. And honestly, I don't know how the next chapter is going to turn out. I once predicted that Wally could be going gently into that good night. But now, because I've been saying, well, only thing he got to do is jab. Just jab, jab. Get the respect. He's getting slaughtered out there. What you mean, jab? So, it's been about 3 or 4 rounds, and Ricardo's getting massacred out there. At this point, Ricardo is like round 4 or 5, right? Yeah. Like round 3 is like last chapter. This is like round 4 or 5. If he loses like 2 more rounds, 2 to 3 more rounds, the fight's over. He cannot no longer beat Wally on points. Now he could take him out, but you got to catch him first. But then again, we haven't seen a high pursuit Ricardo Martinez either. We have seen a glimpse of it against AJ Dante, but that's not like a extreme high pursuit. We haven't seen Ricardo hunt somebody down and just apply pressure and walk their ass down like Ippo did against Kurosawa into that corner. Liver blow. I don't. Yeah. It's just, yeah, the entire series is just talking more Ippo and Sendo, where it's comparable to punches. Sendo's over here tearing off scalps, Ippo is tearing off flesh and bones, and he's just a great Takamura, just outright murdering people. You see what he did to Michael Goat? That's not a fight, that's murder. Murder, I tell you, murder. But Miguel says we're gonna do this as a warrior, and he's going out like a warrior. I don't know. I will say this is a rare time where I just don't know what's going to happen. There's no real predictions. And I walked in this red side, and It's just overall great chapter. This is amazing. Well, you got thoughts and opinions. How your thoughts about how this fight's going out? Wally is still dominating in the pocket, but Ricardo is not trying to go gently into that good night. He is not taking to that NyQuil too well. It's upsetting his stomach, and he's starting to fight back. The white antibodies are getting in there and starting to apply the body blows, and then he's starting to apply some pressure. But Wally is still cool as a cucumber. As Ricardo faced the savageness of the jungle, Wally has been trained by combating the ocean itself. It's the ultimate showdown, folks. Like boys and girls, can Earth finally defeat water, or will water remain supreme? If you miss shot with King, and peace.